Did you know you can lose $1,000 by not negotiating your salary? What's up, everyone? My name's David. Welcome back to my channel. Negotiating salaries. People don't want to do it, but you have to do it. If you don't negotiate your salary, you're going to be losing money in the long run. According to Glassdoor, you can expect to lose close to $7,500 if you don't negotiate. Now, that estimate is not including just your salary. It includes your bonus, your 401k, your employer matches, and many more. Over the course of your career, you can expect to lose close to $1 million or $750,000 if you don't negotiate. The majority of us don't negotiate for our salary, and I feel for you. Negotiating your salary is awkward, it's sometimes scary, and most of us don't even know what we're doing. So listen to my 5 tips on how to negotiate, which helped me to get over a 20% increase in my total compensation. But first, like the video, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me and the content that I create. All right, let's get back to it. The first tip, do your research. You can learn the average or median salary for your role on different sites such as Indeed or Glassdoor. By knowing the average or the market rate, you can figure out if you're being undervalued or lowballed by these companies. So knowledge is power, so I suggest that you do your research beforehand before going into any negotiation or any interviews with a recruiter. I know personally researching before going into an interview or applying for a role is very important. One particular memory sticks out in my mind for a role that I was offered because I accepted immediately. Even though I got an increase, it was roughly 5%, I feel that I could at least get close to 10% or even more than 10% for negotiation. My suggestion is that before going into the battle of negotiating your salary or your compensation, you figure out what the market rate is for your role, just so that you're at least prepared for any talking with the conversation with a recruiter or the hiring manager. Tip number 2, expand the pie. Now, I'm not talking about this type of pie or this type of pie, I'm talking about this pie. Most of the time when we think about negotiation, we think about salary, but there's other things besides salary that you should think of. So there's bonuses, stock options, there's moving location fees, and other benefits that you may not even think of. Explain your situation with a recruiter. So you can explain that you have a family and you have additional moving costs that they should add towards the compensation. Or if you're losing some benefits such as a bonus that you would be vested in / or 401k match if you were to leave earlier. So the key is for this step is that you stay flexible, build communication with your recruiter, and just try to make sure that you're being transparent. Be honest and try to be upfront all in one. When people think about the pie, they think about a fixed pie, but ultimately you want to make sure that you can expand it. There's a lot of benefits for negotiation and give and take. So the whole key point is to stay flexible and understand that it's not that the company is losing and you're gaining, or you're losing and the company's gaining. It's that you're both going to be ultimately raising up each other because of the skill sets you have and the background with experience, along with what the company can benefit from your experience and background. During your interviews and salary negotiation, you're going to try to stand out from the others. So the key point is that you want to stand out. And that goes well with the next tip. Tip number 3, be you. This is the time when you should be explaining about everything that makes you unique. This includes unique work experience, unique skills, and ongoing progression, such as schools or a certificate. During the salary negotiation phase, you want to be really selling yourself. So that includes things that makes you unique, what I mentioned before. It's kind of like dating. So this is a time where you should be explaining about what you can offer and what skills, uniqueness that you can bring to the role. And this is a time where you should be persuading that you are the best fit regarding this role. This really depends on the role that you're applying for. So if it's very specific or broad, make sure that you're trying to sell that you're very unique and the skill sets are a great match for the role. So my experience is that I sell myself that role that I'm applying for is very unique and it's very difficult to place within the market. So this gives you more leverage in terms of negotiation with the recruiter. This really depends if the role that you're applying for and negotiating your salary is if it's more specific or broad. But I would say that if it's on the side that's more niche or specific, sell that you're very unique. The traits and skills that you're offering is very hard to find in the market. This gives you more leverage in terms of asking for more money or compensation through this phase. Lastly, for this tip, be yourself, smile, show your personality, make sure that you're friendly. Throughout this process, it's going to be very nerve-wracking for you and the recruiter because they want to make sure that they hire the right candidate along making sure that you're happy. So try to show your personality, smile throughout this time, and it's going to make it a little more easier for on both ends. Tip number 4, avoid the back and forth. Your time is precious along with recruiters and the company that you're applying for, so avoid the back and forth. Try to avoid bringing every little small thing to the negotiation process because it's going to create more frustration for the recruiter. They're going to be more tempted to think that you're more vested with the money, not with the role and company. I will say the only time when back and forth is okay is if the employer gives you more information regarding the role. For example, if the employer told you that the role initially was based in Philadelphia, but then you figure out that the role is based in New York or LA, a city that's more expensive, this gives you more negotiation factors and reasons to bring up later on that you didn't know early on in the phase. Also, keep in mind, please, during these times like right now where unemployment is really high, try to avoid the back and forth because these times are very precious. So employers are trying to fill the roles, people are trying to get jobs. So I've seen opportunities where people have lost their jobs or offer because they took too long or they were just playing games. So keep in mind for this tip and play safe. Overall, try to be sincere, and the way that you're conveying to the recruiter and your interactions for the company is that you're trying to get the best value, because the value and the salary that they're paying for you is a reflection of what they see in you. Tip number 5, premature negotiation. Recruiters might be persistent and ask you this question: what are your expectations for the salary for this role? Oftentimes when recruiters are asking about your salary expectations regarding a role, they're trying to make sure that you're in the budget, but also that they're trying to catch you off guard, possibly if you weren't even thinking about or research about the salary expectations with the role. My suggestion on how to respond to recruiters if they're asking about your salary expectations really early on during the interview process is that you want to hold off on any salary negotiation or talks until any consideration is given with an offer. But by chance the recruiter is very firm and trying to get an answer from you, I would suggest that you offer a range. Make sure that with the first tip, you do your research to include within the range the median or average salary for your role. From my experience, premature negotiation for salaries is oftentimes more confusing and a hindrance for your consideration. So try to avoid it as possible. Thank you for watching my video. Feel free to like the video along with subscribe to my channel. Comment down below if you have any questions regarding salary negotiations or any tips that you can offer too. As always, stay fresh, take care.